Hi, I am Dr. Catherine Esquer. I'm a licensed psychologist in the state of Pennsylvania and Florida, and I am your mental health coach at Kunik. So today we're going to talk about how to feel less guilty. COVID has given us working parents brand new and exciting opportunities to feel guilt in our lives, whether it be our work demands, our providing for our family, or our relationship with our partner. Everything has changed, and the expectations we held for ourselves in those areas prior to COVID may not be reasonable in the middle or post-COVID. So the first strategy for feeling less guilty is to recognize when your environment has changed your ability to meet expectations. So what that looks like is my analogy of if I was a marathon runner, which I've used this before, and I broke my leg, expecting myself to be able to run a marathon with a broken leg is completely unrealistic and would cause me a lot of guilt if I still held that. Many of you are probably thinking this is unrelatable, but it is, because when we have these expectations of succeeding and performing at our highest level at work, as well as having our children succeed and participate in love school, and having a great relationship with our spouse with frequent date nights pre-COVID, those expectations should be changed because our environment has changed in the middle of COVID. We now have to work from home while balancing children who may or may not be attending school at home, who need help on a daily basis, as well as increased demands in our relationships and changing of roles in our house. The environment has changed, and so should our expectations of ourselves. The second strategy for working on guilt and decreasing it would be to get a bigger picture of what's going on. And what I mean by that is a lot of times when we feel guilty, it's a direct link to our focus. When we are focusing on and pay attention to the areas of our life where we feel inadequate, where we feel not good enough, where we feel like we could improve, where we feel like we could have done better, those areas make us feel guilty. If we focus on those and not focus on, at the same time, the areas of our life where we feel like we're doing good enough. We're good enough in these areas. Maybe we're succeeding. If we pair the areas of improvement or could be doing better with the areas that I'm pretty proud of or that I'm solid in, pair those together, and that gives us a more realistic picture of what's going on in our lives. So I can give you a really concrete example. Perhaps, sharing for a friend that I feel guilty that my son has eaten Easy Mac for 3 meals in a row, 3 dinners in a row, let's say. I feel guilty because I know I could do better. In fact, pre-COVID, I was making homemade meals every night for them. But post-COVID, or in the middle of COVID, I have work meetings right up until dinner time, and I don't have the resources to be able to have this beautiful handmade or homemade meal ready to go for my child every night. So he has Easy Mac 3 dinners in a row. I maybe feel guilty about this because that's what I'm paying attention to. I'm not paying attention to the fact that my environment has changed, and so should my expectations of myself. And I'm also not paying attention to the fact that maybe he had Easy Mac 3 dinners in a row, but maybe he tried a new vegetable at each of those dinners. That I can feel pretty solid and pretty good about. So what I should be doing is recognizing my environment has changed, demands on myself have changed, and so should my expectations, as well as I feel inadequate about Easy Mac every night, but I do feel solid that he's trying new vegetables and actually liking them. Pair those together, and it's a much more reasonable outlook on what I'm doing, what I'm accomplishing, and hopefully it makes me feel less guilty. So when you feel guilty, check what you're focusing on. I would love to hear from you. Reply below with some expectations that you need to change of yourself that may be contributing to that extra layer of guilt in the middle of COVID. That's it for now.